you should pause to see. One chance out between two worlds. Fire with me.
Hello again, everyone. Welcome back to Ghostwood, the Twin Peaks podcast. I'm one of your co-hosts, Charles Skaggs, back in Ghostwood Forest. Well, okay, not Ghostwood Forest. I'm still in the basement of frickin' Solitude because everybody won't wear their frickin' masks like they're supposed to because you're all a bunch of children out there.
You are all weirdos.
You're all weirdos, exactly. But thankfully, to keep me company in our voyage of Twin Peaks, our journey of Twin Peaks, which is laid by path being laid one stone at a time, is my wonderful co-host, wonderful friend, and just all around wonderful person, Xan Sprouse. How you doing?
How you doing, wonderful person, Charles?
I'm doing wonderful.
You know, you do your podcasting from the basement of Solitude. And
Yes, I do.
You've said this before.
Yes.
And we've been doing this podcast for what, like 3 years now? Almost 3 years.
Yep. 3.5, yeah.
You know what I just realized? I'm in the pink room. This room is literally pink. The walls are pink in this room.
Bueno.
Yeah. So yeah, I am podcasting from the pink room. I am really disappointed in myself that I have not realized that until just this second.
That is fantastic.
I am this many years old before I realized from the pink room. Yep. And I've lived here for 5 years and I'm still not done painting this room. I painted the walls pink, but I wanted the trim to be black. I still haven't done that. Because
you'll get to it. No big deal.
I have other things to do. I have Twin Peaks to watch.
There you go. And what's wrong with that? So here at episode 78.
A damn thing.
Exactly. So here at episode 78, it's been a long road, but we are going to talk What Is Your Name? a.k.a. The Return Part 18, the final question mark episode of Twin Peaks.
Do the right thing, Mark Frost, David Lynch.
Pretty much.
It was season 4.
So
do the right thing.
Yeah, exactly. Just like Spike Lee says, do the right thing.
Mm-hmm. Or do it because I said so, Frylock.
So as you know, for now at least, the final episode of Twin Peaks. Hopefully not. Prove me wrong, David Lynch, Mark Frost.
Prove me wrong, David Lynch and Mark Frost.
Exactly. So this, of course, was the episode on September 3rd, 2017 that aired. It's been that long since we last said goodbye to Twin Peaks. Written, of course, by Mark Frost.
And it's been that
David
long
Lynch.
since you've been in England.
Right? Yes, because for those we know, we've talked about this here on the podcast, but anybody new to the podcast that doesn't know this particular tale of woe for Charles, I was overseas vacationing with my wife, Lori. We were in London at the time. I know, really hardship, right? But because of the scheduling of our vacation that we had booked, months in advance, it turned out, well, hey, we were going to be overseas when the Twin Peaks finale aired. And yours truly was not happy about it.
No. And I made the offer.
I think rather understandably, though.
Yes. I made the offer. When Twin Peaks The Return premiered, Charles and Lori came to my house and so did my friend Mike Sheckett, and I had donuts and pie and brie on baguette sandwiches and carrots. Like, I had all kinds of Twin Peaks related snackables.
You and Chris were wonderful hosts.
Thank you. So when the final episode was airing, Mike Sheckett called me again and he said, "Hey, can I come over?" And I said, "Absolutely." And I said, "Anybody else who wants to come, they can come." But it was me and Mike, and I again had donuts and pie, and I bought white roses at the store like about a week before and kept them in blue water. So I made blue roses for myself.
Right. Dyed blue
so
roses.
I had this whole thing going on, and I offered to Charles.
Yeah, this was a very extremely kind offer.
I said, here's what we can do. I can turn the computer on. We can Skype, and I can turn the computer towards the TV.
Right.
And then you can tell me if you can hear it or what you need or how to change the angle, and you can watch this. However,
yes,
because Charles was in London, what would it have been? 1 a.m?
It was like it was. I believe you were, because you were messaging me at the time, and I believe the time that
because I was messaging you up to like 5 minutes before the show.
Yes,
came on.
you were.
Yeah.
So
like, are you sure you don't want to do this?
So if the show started, did it start at 9 or 10 our time?
I think it started like at 8.
Okay, so if it started at 8, that would have been 5 hours ahead. So that would have been about 1 o'clock.
It was like if it started at 9, it was 1 or 2 in the morning. 1 in the morning at the absolute earliest.
Because it was a 5-hour difference between
Eastern
Standard Time and Greenwich Mean Time.
Greenwich Mean Time, yeah. So it was. I don't remember what time Twin Peaks was on. It was 8 or 9.
Yeah.
But it was a good 1 in the morning at the absolute earliest.
Right. Now, you know, my wife by this point had already crashed out because of the events of the day. We were tired. And we were.
For those of you who have not been to London, you walk everywhere.
Pretty much.
It's glorious.
Yes, exactly. Or
but it's a lot of walking.
Unless you take the tube, which we mastered while we were there.
But yes, you can master the tube, but the tube is still walking to the tube station, walking up the stairs, running away from the American Werewolf in London if you're there too late. It has its
moon, you saw me standing. I'm sorry.
I can assure you that this is not in the least bit amusing. So yeah, I mean, and you're on vacation. You're waking up raring to go, and you're trying to jam pack as much as you can. So of course, Lord, I was like, put on some headphones and go sit at the desk and do this. And you're like, I am going to have opinions, and I am going to be talking during this, and I don't want to wake up Lori.
Exactly. Yeah, I told Xan, you have no idea how tempted I was to do that.
Oh, yeah.
and your kind offer was like, yeah, I'm just going to hold the phone so you can watch. And
I had my computer facing the TV, and I could have just hit Skype, called you, boom, you would have watched it.
And I was so tempted, but I'm just like, I got to get some sleep. I can't do this.
Weren't you coming back like the next day or something like that?
It was like 2 days afterward.
Something, yeah. So you weren't.
So basically, like I had to make the decision. Well, do I watch it on a really tiny image? You know, that's that from Xan's living room. You know, on my phone, my iPad, really, because it was on my iPad. And I'm like, or do I want to watch this properly? So I'm like, okay.
You made the right choice, Charles.
I think I made the right choice, but it was so hard. Oh my God, it was so hard.
Oh my God, yeah.
It was the worst. Absolute worst.
Yeah, and because I was like, it was a Sunday when it aired.
Yeah.
And I was like, is it time yet? Is it time for Twin Peaks? Like, I was running around the house like it was going to be Christmas. I mean, I couldn't. Not as bad as when it first premiered. Like, I was like 3 days before. I'm like, it's happening. It's happening. I was so excited.
You've heard of Sophie's Choice? Well, that's nothing compared to Charles's Choice at the time.
Oh my God. I think.
Yeah.
That's a little bit of hyperbole there.
Okay, maybe I'm exaggerating just a little bit.
Oh my God.
Maybe.
But
that's how it felt at the time.
I know it was difficult for you, but I do think you made the right choice. Okay. And I guarantee you, Lori thinks you made the right choice.
Oh, I'm sure she does.
Yeah.
Because if I had woken her up while I'm like sitting there at like 2 a.m. watching, going, oh my God.
At like 1:58,
yes.
when the show was over, you would have woken up the whole hotel.
Yeah, exactly. And we're obviously going to talk about that moment with Sheryl Lee and her insane vocal cords.
The most terrifying moment of television I've seen on television in like the last 20 years.
Right. So if I had watched that in that hotel room all the way in London on an iPad, there would have been hell to pay.
That would have been slumming it a little bit, I think. Watching a Skype of somebody's computer on it. Because you couldn't get Showtime. You couldn't get your Showtime in London. So
No, and I tried. Trust me, I did. I tried really hard.
And you would have woken your wife up screaming and be like, "Why are you on Skype?
Yes.
And why are you and Xan both screaming?"
Yeah, Lori would have been like, "What the hell are you doing?"
Yeah, she's like, "Do I hear Xan yelling through your headphones? What is that?
Why is Xan screaming?
What is her problem?"
So anyway,
you made the right choice.
Yeah.
You definitely made.
That's my little story. All right.
Yep.
All right. But thank you for reassuring me that I made the right decision.
Yes,
right.
You did. So
okay.
I think we should. This is now we're finally going to watch it together. So
yeah.
This will be exciting.
So I did want to mention really quickly though before we get started, if you've been checking out David Lynch's theater on YouTube.
Oh, on YouTube, yeah.
Yeah. So he released a new short film. Well, not really a new one. A one from 2011 today. Uh-huh. It's called The 3 R's.
See, I need to turn that channel on with notifications because I keep missing it when he premieres these things. I see him a couple days later.
I catch up because when I'm doing this research for our podcast, so and I'm like, oh yeah, I gotta check this out. Thankfully, it's only like 70 seconds long, so it doesn't.
Nice.
It's just a really short film. What it was used as a trailer for the Vienna International Film Festival.
Oh.
The Biennale, which had its world premiere on September 21st in 2011 at the Garten Bocchino in Vienna, Austria.
Mm-hmm.
And it's typical Lynch. I mean, this is
nice.
your typical trippy David Lynch. You've got like a guy with a hat and a coat holding 2 stones. You've got you've got a rubber duck getting decapitated with a pair of scissors in a tub.
At least it's a rubber duck.
Yeah, exactly. You've got, you hear as a woman screams, of course, because hey, it's David Lynch. You've got the man in the hat and a coat, apparently killing rocks on the ground with a claw hammer, and they yelp each time he strikes one. So,
yike.
So if that's your bag for a good 70 seconds, check out the 3 R's.
I mean, if you're here, you're probably somewhat.
I would think, yeah. This should be
intrigued.
If you're, you listen to our podcast regularly and you love Twin Peaks, you love David Lynch, I'm sure it's in your wheelhouse, and I highly recommend checking it out. All right,
let's do it.
All right. So at long last, Charles and Xan get to watch. What is Your Name? The Twin Peaks The Return finale together. So,
awesome.
So wake the kids, phone the neighbors, as David Letterman used to say back in the day.
Mm-hmm.
Which I always love that phrase, by the way.
Yep.
And everybody who wants to, as we do our commentaries, once again for the last time, at least Twin Peaks commentary, unless we end up going through all this all over again, the 1 minute 33 mark we are at. If you want to sync up with us, the black screen of blackness.
The black of blackness.
And now it's dark.
Now it's dark.
So everybody, if you're ready, we will press play and synchronize in 3, 2, 1. Doink.
Aw, my kitty's in here. She looks like something spooked her. I wonder if the lawnmower spooked her. Oh boy.
That's apparently Mr. C on fire.
Mr. C is on fire. He is back in the lodge where he belongs.
En fuego.
Oh, seriously. Oh, look.
Oh, we have a nice one of those little golden pearls.
Yep, a little gold ball and some hair and
a little bit of Dougie.
Yep, a little bit of Dougie. So he's gonna make another one.
Gonna make us
another Dougie so Janie E and Sonny Jim can have a Dougie.
Everybody gets a Dougie.
You get a Dougie, and you get a Dougie, and you get a Dougie. Aw, this makes me very happy that they get a Dougie. And look at that.
I was kind of a little disappointed, though, because obviously they do this because Cooper's not coming back. But I kind of would have liked to see Cooper go back to Janie E and Sonny Jim.
Yeah, I think, there's part of me that would have liked
Yep.
that, but then there's also part of me that knows that it's Cooper, so this relationship is not going to end well. So
We're back at the red door.
red door. Aw. Here comes Janie E. wondering what the hell just happened in my life, and yay, here's
He's
Dougie.
back. But it's
Aw.
not quite the Dougie.
It's a better Dougie than
It's like the
home
Cooperized version of Dougie.
It's the non-whoring, non-gambling version of Dougie, so
Right.
it works out well.
Exactly.
Yeah.
So we're back to kind of recap a little bit as Cooper leads Laura through the woods.
Yes, he's leading her away
Yep.
from Jacques, Leo, and Ronette. So
Altering the timeline in the process.
altering the timeline, and my question is,
Mm-hmm.
does he know where Leland is? Does he know that Leland is not home? Because where's he sending her?
Well,
Where does he think she's going to go if he takes her away?
Hopefully he, kind of is aware of the timeline of Laura's murder, but then, what happens here? He loses her.
He loses her, so he's taken her out of the time stream that gets her murdered, but now he doesn't know what happened to her. You should never turn your back on Laura Palmer.
No, pretty much. You shouldn't.
She's filled with secrets, I've heard.
She's filled with secrets.
I heard that somewhere.
That's catchy.
Oh, here we are. Now he's back in the lodge, so what the hell's happening to Cooper? And here we go.
Is it food chore?
Or is it past? And here we are back to our first episode again, with wondering what the hell time it is. So basically, from here on out, abandon all expectations of or anything making sense, because now we're just going to lynch it up for the next hour.
Yeah, you kind of like glitched up on the expectations part there.
Yeah. So, and here's the thing. When I watched this for the first time when it first aired, I remember thinking that there were so many questions about other characters that I was worried were going to go unanswered.
Too many
because
questions.
Too many questions. I kept watching this. Here we go. Here we have Cooper walking through the curtains again.
Yep. And we,
just
in a nice reset to the final Twin Peaks episode that was on ABC.
Yes, back to 1991, where we're just going through all the rooms. Here's the arm.
The evolved arm.
The evolved arm. Yes. So
apparently, he's much more progressive now. That's why he's the evolved arm.
Yes, he's the arm, and I sound like this.
So, that's a different one.
That's a little bit different.
That's a little bit different.
Yeah. So I remember thinking, are my questions going to get answered? And as I kept watching, is it the story of the little girl
who lives down
the lane? Oh my God!
It's the Audrey reset. So what does it mean?
Right. So I am thinking here that, oh my gosh, am I going to hear more about Audrey? Is this going to get fixed? Am I going to figure out what happens?
Nope.
No. And then, 15 minutes go by, half an hour goes by, 45 minutes go by. And then I just had to stop and relax and say, Xan, this is the story of Laura Palmer. All the other characters are gravy. You have to just let this be about Laura Palmer. And I relaxed a little bit and just let this episode flow over me. And it was my father who killed me.
You really should relax.
It's just a show. I just have to keep repeating that to myself, that it's just a show.
You really should relax. Exactly.
Yep. So
we still don't know why she was ripped. Is it because of the timeline alteration that ripped her out?
I think it's because of the timeline. Yeah, I think because
in a kind of
he altered the
timey-wimey,
timeline.
wibbly-wobbly way.
He altered everything.
Oh, hey, Ray Wise.
He screwed everything up, and so everything's different and everything's strange. And Ray Wise is here.
Find Laura.
Saying find Laura because this is Leland. And Leland knows that she's been ripped out, and he needs him to. I mean, he knows Cooper was trying to make right what Leland made wrong, and he knows that what Cooper has done has not worked the way he thought it did.
Well, also because Leland's probably damned to the Black Lodge, and Cooper is in a position to do something about it.
I think so too. He's probably stuck there, which is unfortunate because Leland's only crime is not being able to fight off Bob.
Right.
That's his only sin. So
yeah, everything else.
Okay, here we go.
Oh, and here's Diane with red hair. We were in Glastonbury Grove once again.
Glastonbury Grove. Here's Diane with red hair, so we know this is actually Diane.
Right.
It's not white haired.
It's not
Tulpa
Tulpa.
Diane.
Yeah, it's not Tulpa Diane.
So that hair looks like candy.
I know.
Seriously, like hard candy, like the old fashioned way of pulling it on a hook.
I love that color.
I know, it's great. It's
I've always been a sucker for redheads, though.
Well, who isn't? You know, it's probably a wig because honestly, that's hard.
I'm sure it is a wig, unless they.
But I don't know. Laura Dern's blonde. Blonde hair is a lot easier to color because it's just you're not fighting a lot of other colors.
But she didn't have a lot of scenes as Diane.
No,
she didn't. With the red hair, so it's why dye it?
Right. Do you think she dyed it purple though? She might have actually dyed it purple.
I think she might have. You mean for Star Wars Last
for
Jedi?
Holdo? For Admiral Holdo?
Yeah, Admiral. Yeah. I think she dyed it for Holdo.
Yeah, because it looks a little more
natural
and wavy. Yeah. And when you have a wig like this where there's bangs and you can't necessarily see the roots.
Right.
So now, whose car is this?
It's a good question.
I've always wondered whose car this was.
And you notice it kind of changes after a while.
I mean, see right here, you see that we have, a late 60s model car here.
Yep.
And
because you can tell by the rear view mirror.
Mm-hmm.
Oh,
the lack of seat belts.
Right. Electricity. Yep.
The upholstery and that wheel that was supposed to
the old windshield wipers.
That concave wheel that was supposed to keep you safe.
Exactly. Yeah. That
and the bench seats. We don't see bench seats anymore.
Yeah.
So
that's something to pay attention to.
Right. Yeah. Pay attention to pretty much everything that's going on here.
So interestingly, all right. So here, Cooper and Diane are driving 430 miles. 430.
Oh yeah, that's right.
Remember the 430?
Yeah.
That's what that meant, apparently. Was the 430 miles. That's what it was referring to.
Yeah, that's where the 430 came from.
Yep.
So almost exactly 430 miles. Having driven 430 miles, you'd think there would be at least one, McDonald's cup of coffee in there or something.
I want to know how they went 430 miles. Of course, there was an older car. It probably had a much larger gas tank.
Yeah, much larger gas tank, but still it probably only got 8 miles to the gallon.
Right, exactly. The mileage.
How
did they go all that way without filling up?
Well, there's some things that David Lynch edited. We didn't see them going to a convenience store.
They lived above it.
Yeah, we didn't see that part where he went to the.
That could have been kind of funny if they went to a convenience store.
Yeah, seriously, that would have been awesome.
I think that's a missed opportunity there.
Maybe.
Yeah. Season 4, just saying.
Do the right thing, David Lynch and Mark Frost.
So apparently Cooper has now dialed in somehow.
Mm-hmm.
That what they're going to do, they're basically on the border of a gateway, would you say? A portal?
They're in the zone.
They're in the zone?
Yeah. They're about to enter the zone.
The auto zone.
Get in the zone. I always found those those types of electrical towers very interesting when you're driving on the open road and you see them. They look like people with their arms up.
Yeah.
They look like
Well, you know what?
giant creatures.
Something I was reading somewhere, someone compared them to like owls. They're kind of owl-shaped.
Oh, and so are they not what they seem?
Maybe.
All right,
I thought that was kind of interesting.
Cooper's feeling it. Cooper's been through some things here.
Yes, he has. He's seen some stuff.
He's already been places.
He's been places, exactly.
Yeah.
So now he's dialed in with his Cooper sense.
This is the place, and so they have to face some facts here.
So let's make out.
I know we haven't kissed in 30. Yes, once we cross, it could all be different. So
in this reality,
yeah,
he might basically, why not, right? If they're saying goodbye to this reality.
Yeah, let's have this one last moment.
Now, keep in mind, this is probably after, she still has those memories of Doppelganger Cooper, raping
assaulting her.
Yeah.
But when you look but right before Cooper kisses her, he has this really sweet look in his eyes, and I think she realizes that it's him. I think she knows it's him. I don't think she wouldn't have gone with him.
This is true.
If she didn't see Cooper, let alone kiss him.
Right.
So I think we're okay.
So maybe you just needed to convince her to kiss him at that point. Maybe she still had some reservations.
I think the kiss is sort of an apology / bonding moment / nice thing for them to have before this happens, because here we are. They've crossed through. Now it's all different. It's nighttime now. It's dark.
Nighttime. Yep. And we should kind of. It's hard to see the interior of the car at this point.
Right.
It still kind of looks like the original car, though.
It's still the same car because they have those flashy moments where it lights up. So, I think they don't know what they're going. But I'm just curious as to why Diane gets into this searching for Laura storyline. I'm wondering what could possibly be another story for Diane. What could be Diane's continuation?
It's a good question.
Do the right thing, David Lynch. Give us a season 4.
Well, we would like to know what happened to her after this.
We would love to know what happened to her. It was so great to finally...
Well, remember there's that whole business that we're going to see coming up with the 2 Dianes.
The 2 Dianes, yeah. And it was wonderful to see her in the first place with this series. We had heard her name, and she was a tape recorder. If you think about the cast list in the original soundtrack where they have just a picture of the tape recorder in Cooper's hand, and it just says Diane.
Right.
So she's been a character, but this is the first time we've seen her, and it was so great to actually see her. And it was so great that it was Laura Dern, that I would love to see more of her.
And everybody was happy because, hey, Kyle MacLachlan and Laura Dern are together on screen again.
Right.
As a couple, because, even as on screen.
Because Laura Dern and Kyle MacLachlan were in Blue Velvet, which is the precursor to
the prototype,
Twin
as
Peaks.
we've talked about. Yes.
The prototype to Twin Peaks, exactly.
So they're pulling up to a motel, presumably to check in.
I'm going to just point out here that they are pulling up to a 1-story motel.
Exactly. That's a very important point to pay attention to.
I would just like to say pay attention to the fact that they are at a 1-story motel.
It kind of looks a little bit like the motel that Daria.
Teresa Banks lived at?
Well, and also Daria, remember?
Yeah, that's true.
When Mr. C was with Daria.
When he was with Daria, right. But it kind of reminds me, too, of Teresa Banks' motel that she was staying in. And
so do you have cable?
Do you have the magic fingers? If you do you have? Can I get $10 worth of quarters, please? Because that'll be fabulous.
You have Wi-Fi, or has that not been invented yet? What year is this?
Yeah, Oh, wait, we're a little early for that.
So,
what's going on here, Diane?
Yeah, so Diane is looking at herself, and then she's gone.
And here's the thing about Diane looking at herself. Neither Diane looks particularly surprised to see the other one.
No.
You know, if that were me and I saw somebody who looked exactly like me wearing my exact clothes staring at me, I would be a puddle on the floor of
Pretty much.
Hot mess.
You would freak the hell out.
I would freak the hell out. So
but
something...
Diane's surprisingly calm about this whole thing.
Something is up with this, and there is way more to Diane.
Now, has she been replaced by this point?
I'm not sure. I'm not sure
because depending on the editing, we could be seeing her. If they cut the abduction, the replacement.
Yeah.
Is this another Tulpa?
I'm not sure if this is another Tulpa or if the other Diane is saying, you're going to have to come with me.
Right.
Like the other Diane there for her to pick her up and bring her into the Diane world and Diane's own storyline. I'm not sure. I haven't decided that.
And here we have the most awkward sex scene ever on screen.
What do we do now? Magic fingers? For anyone who is young enough to have not stayed in a roadside motel and knows what the magic fingers are this
coin operated
bed vibration thing. It's a brand of vibration system that would be hooked to beds in motels, and you'd throw quarters in it and your bed would shake.
And it was on a timer so that after a certain while, unless you
it was like a minute and a half for a quarter, like 3 minutes for a quarter or something.
You would have to keep feeding quarters in if you wanted it to continue.
Oh,
and what song are we listening to here?
I believe this is My Prayer by the Platters.
Now, wait, didn't we hear that before?
Didn't we hear that at some radio station in the 50s?
Right before a bunch of radio station employees got massacred?
They got massacred? Yeah, seriously.
And that's the song that apparently Cooper and Diane finally make love to.
Pretty much. Well, Kyle MacLachlan.
Yes.
Because I'm not convinced that this is Laura Dern.
Well, I mean, obviously it's her body double.
Right. We see him and then we see her, but we don't actually see the two of them.
Right. But I mean, I'm talking, the characters, Cooper and Diane.
I know. I'm just talking about how this would have been.
Right.
This would have been awkward because 30 years ago in real life they used to do this.
Yeah.
So this would have been a little bit awkward, I think. Even though they are both consummate professionals, I still think it would have been a little bit awkward. Here, do a sex scene with your ex-girlfriends.
See, this is how we skirt around, the PG rating here on the podcast here on Ghostwood because, hey, we're watching kind of R-rated stuff, but we're only talking about PG-rated stuff.
Well, that's the thing. We're not a video podcast.
Exactly. So. This is probably why.
We're watching people doing it, but you don't have to.
Right.
So, this is very.
And Cooper has this rather emotionless, like it doesn't seem at all passionate. It just seems more like a formality here.
Yeah, this is a very, like you said, Charles, it's a very awkward sex scene because I feel like what they're doing
there's no joy in this.
I think there's a connection sense. I feel like they're doing this to connect with each other, but not necessarily because the two of them want to have sex with each other. I feel like it's a connection mechanism more than anything else. And I think for her it's difficult because
she's thinking of the sexual assault
by
the doppelganger Cooper.
Look at her covering his face.
Right, exactly. That's why she covers his face because she wants to make love to him, but she's thinking of
bad memories. Yeah,
these are bad memories. Exactly. So so she's trying to have that moment with him without actually looking at him.
Yeah, but there's also
Don't look at me.
Yeah, don't you effing look at me. I think there's also a little bit of an element of who am I? I don't know. That's right, with the face covering.
Right.
Which we've seen before with Leland and Teresa Banks. So
you're right. That's a great parallel. I didn't catch that, but you're absolutely right.
So I think there's a
good observation.
A lot going on here. I think there's a lot going on here.
Points to Xan on that one.
Thank you very much. So here we are. And
in the afterglow. The morning after.
Here, yes, we have, we're going to save a prayer for me now.
Save a prayer for me now.
Save it till the morning after. No, don't say a prayer for me now. So here's Cooper. He's alone. And.
Yep. So Diane is apparently a love him and leave him type.
Well, and the furniture's different.
Right. Exactly. It's like, this is not the same room that the.
It's the same blanket, but it's not the same furniture as we had before.
Things are different now.
Things are very different now, and what a disappointment that he gets out of bed and there's underpants there. That's why you watch Showgirls. I mean, let's be honest. Also, we've got a note there's a letter for you on the end table.
Well, with Cooper,
Dear Richard.
At least he's not wearing his blue pajamas that he had in the original finale.
I love those blue pajamas. Dear Richard, what's going on with this? Please don't try to find me. I don't recognize you anymore. Whatever we had together is over. Linda.
So
Richard, my goodness. Richard and Linda. Here we go.
So we had the 4:30. We have Richard and Linda. So we're going all the way back to the first episode.
All the way
back.
Part
one.
Now our motel seems to not only be two.
It's now It's a double decker.
It's 2 stories, and apparently it's in Florida.
Yeah. Now we have palm trees.
Or California or something. But yes.
Yeah.
Yes, we seem to be somewhere where there are palm trees. So Cooper is.
That must have been some night.
Heading out.
And. Oh, hey, look, there's a much more modern car.
Different car.
A new car.
Yes,
Come on down.
Car. And even Cooper is realizing, wait a minute, this is not my beautiful car, and this is not my beautiful hotel. How did I get here?
Diane. The days go by.
My God, what have I done? So Cooper's realizing that, yes,
same as it ever was.
Same as it ever was. Cooper's realizing that everything is changing, that things are going to be different. And so he's just going to keep on keeping on.
Pretty impressive that the keys, he still had the same keys.
Right, that's the thing. Wouldn't you have noticed when you picked up the keys to the car that they weren't the keys to the car that you came here in?
So, unless the keys changed as well.
I'm assuming the keys had to have changed because
they had to have.
They probably are a remote key and a more modern set of keys. All right, so here we are in Odessa. Now, once again, Charles, why am I not...
So, Odessa in Texas, by the way.
Yes, it's in Texas.
Those who don't know.
Yes. Here's another thing I want to ask Charles. Why, when I knew that we were going to be watching this episode, am I not eating some sort of diner food? What is... I know. What is wrong with me?
What is wrong with us? Plural.
Yeah, what's the name? What's the name of that restaurant?
Eat at Judy's.
Eat at Judy's. Are we going to talk about Judy today?
Apparently, we're going to talk about Judy today.
Oh my goodness, we are going to talk about Judy. We're going to,
We're not going to leave her out of it.
Oh yeah, damn it, Charles.
I know. I want diner food so bad.
I know. I want to go to a diner, but we can't right now because it's unsafe. And we're decent people, so we're not going to force the issue.
Does Denny's deliver?
Yes, they do. Yeah.
But probably not all the way out here to Hilliard, probably.
IHOP does. IHOP will deliver to you. You could probably.
Well, yeah.
You could probably hub the IHOP.
Yeah. It's tempting.
I gotta tell you.
I would really go for some nice diner food right now.
You want
bacon and pancakes sounds great.
You want like a moons over my hammy or something? That sounds good. Yeah, here we go. So I want to eat at this diner so badly.
It's a nice one.
Yeah.
I mean, I kind of tend to prefer like the 50s retro thing, but this is nice.
Well, they have pecan pie for like less than $2 a slice, so I'm sold.
Right. And by the way, this waitress is rather interesting because, hey, she's played by Francesca Eastwood.
Huh, I know that name.
As in Clint Eastwood's daughter.
Mm-hmm. Which makes you wonder, is she going to put a bunch of sugar in his coffee? That is probably the most obscure reference I have ever made here.
That is a good one.
Here on Ghostwood.
You might need to explain that one.
Is it the second Dirty Harry movie? Where he goes into a diner that's being held up.
Right.
And in order to alert him to what's going on, the waitress, when she's making his coffee, puts like half a jar of sugar in his coffee. And so when he drinks it out in the parking lot, he comes back in, and that's when he realizes what's going on. So
interesting.
That's my
That's a good one. That's a very good reference.
Yeah, that's my extremely obscure reference.
So because it's Texas,
Mm-hmm.
Cooper runs afoul of the Duke boys.
The Duke boys couldn't leave well enough alone with the pancakes that morning.
Nope.
Yeah. Okay.
Looks like there's going to be a mess of trouble.
Uh-huh. Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, this is the greatest.
Squeeze his hand off. Squeeze his hand off.
This is pretty much everything that I would love to see anytime anyone hassles anybody anywhere. I'd love to see some guy just, put your gun on the ground. I don't have a gun. This is Texas, asshole. We know you have a gun.
Right, exactly. This is why I was kind of disappointed that we didn't get Cooper back sooner. More of these kind of moments.
Dale Cooper moved like a cobra.
He did. Forget Dougie Jones. Dale Cooper moved like a cobra.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
So.
Yeah. Yeah. Don't touch the waitress, and there won't be any shooting you in the foot and stealing your gun and putting it in the deep fryer. Which, spoiler alert, he's going to put those guns in the deep fryer.
You don't bring none, you won't get none.
Don't start none, won't be none.
Right.
I should watch today. I haven't seen it in years.
You kind of broke up there a little bit.
Oh, I was doing an Independence Day. I was doing an Independence Day quote, and then I was saying I should watch that this weekend because I haven't seen it in years.
Got it.
So, where's the other waitress that works here? I don't know where she lives.
Now, how does he know this?
That's what's happened. That's what's happened when he's gone through the zone.
Apparently, somehow he picked up this knowledge that he needed to, he knew where, Carrie Page was supposed to be.
Right.
He went looking for her.
Right. That's why he's in Odessa, Texas.
But she's not there.
Yeah.
I would totally pour out those fries in a bag.
You hang it right where it goes. There.
Yeah, there you go. You figured it out.
That's how it works. Charles, you've probably worked a fryer or two in your life, haven't you?
Well, my parents did own a 24-hour restaurant.
Yeah,
so,
that's right.
Yeah. I have known the fryer.
You've known the fryer, yep. So,
yep.
Now we're putting the guns in the... Personally, I would have batter dipped those a little bit with maybe some Old Bay.
Yeah.
Before I put them in the fryer.
I think did he take the bullets out before he put them in the fryer?
Nope. He doesn't know if the oil's hot enough to do anything to those bullets, but I'd move away from here right now.
That's what he's talking about. Okay.
Yeah, that's what
I can remember that. But, deep fried guns, that would probably, go really great at the Ohio State Fair.
I'm going to say, deep fried guns in Texas. I think there's nothing more Texas than deep fried guns.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
It doesn't get any more Texan than that.
Yeah. Like I said, I would probably batter dip those with a little bit of Old Bay seasoning.
Deep fried guns.
Yeah. And somebody salt those fries and serve them up because I'm sick of looking at them sitting there getting wasted. Thank you very much. My God, I'm hungry. I really haven't eaten. I had a bowl of soup today.
We always do this. Why do we always
do this? What is wrong with us?
You would think we would text each other. You think we would text each other before we started recording going, get some damn food.
Yeah, say, hey.
Because we're always doing this.
We're going to be in a diner that we're going to see ads on the wall for pecan pie and BLT sandwiches. Right. Prepare your dinners accordingly.
I would have loved it if they would have had a guy there going, Are you talking about that
little girl that got murdered? That would have been. I wanted that old couple to say that so badly.
That would have been fantastic.
That would have been so great.
Points if you understand that reference.
Well, you should if you're listening to us.
Should. Exactly. We've only talked about it 5,000 times probably.
Yeah. Pink house.
Looks like a fixer-upper.
Pink house, pink room.
Little pink houses for you and me.
Ain't that America?
Ain't that America?
All right, low atmosphere coming. You know. Oh, what is that?
It's the telephone pole.
It's the pole.
And it's the pole that's right outside. Oh hey, the Fat Trout Trailer Park.
Yeah, that the pole that seems to follow the zone everywhere.
That kids get killed at intersections at.
Yeah,
kind of thing.
And Matthew Lillard's head explodes because of.
Right.
Yeah, for real.
It's like it's everywhere. That telephone pole.
I'd watch your step, Coop.
Pretty much. Well, considering what we find inside.
Yeah, what we find inside is a little bit gross.
Yeah. But it's Cooper, he's pretty confident. He's been around the block.
Cooper's seen worse. Yeah.
He's seen some things.
Yep. He's already been places.
He can do things. He's smart.
He's smart, not like everybody says. And who is this?
And here's where things get a little trippy.
Yeah. Yeah, exactly. Oh my God.
FBI.
Look at him. Look at the shock in his eyes.
You cut your hair.
Yeah. Laura?
Is that a new do?
No. You're not Laura Palmer?
You're not Laura Palmer. Yes, that's exactly what she's saying.
Charles,
try to keep up.
Doesn't she look almost exactly like Laura Palmer?
Who's Laura Palmer?
She is Laura Palmer. I feel like I know her, but sometimes my arms bend back.
Right.
Carrie Page, not Laura Palmer.
By the way, for everybody not able to obviously see the video, I am wearing my Who Killed Laura Palmer t-shirt.
Very nice.
That yours truly got for his birthday.
It's my birthday. My birthday.
My wife Lori was kind enough to procure for me.
That's very nice of Lori to enable your crazy.
Yes.
Like that, yeah.
Oh, that's the cornerstone of our relationship.
Oh yeah, for sure.
The enabling.
I love the way she's looking. He's looking at her. See, look, he's saying things that are stirring some things up in her core being.
She's not sure why yet.
You want to know my theory about this, Charles?
Sure. Well, that's why we're here, right? Go ahead. Go for it.
Making her Carrie Page was the only way to keep her safe.
Interesting.
Yeah. Because
that she couldn't cope with the memory of Laura Palmer?
No, because Leland would still look for her.
Oh, I see what you're saying.
Bob
it camouflaged. You're saying it camouflaged her.
Yeah, Bob would still be looking for her. That's the same reason why Cooper was Dougie Jones. It was to protect him.
Right.
Because
in this timeline, obviously, but Leland is still Bob. Bob is still out there.
Right. We don't know. He went back and reset the timeline. So did Freddie McRubberfist kill Bob in that same timeline? I don't think so.
I don't think so either.
But he goes back in time. He goes back in time to help Laura. Right. And this is
Bob
how
is still alive now, presumably.
Bob might not be alive at this moment because again we've had our Freddie McRubberfist action, probably, possibly, maybe, I don't know. But for Carrie Page, who is in her 40s now,
right?
We've got.
But now she's talking about trying to get out of there,
right? Because she's had some bad stuff has been going on for her.
Yeah.
So, but
she's
for Carrie Page, Cooper, the last 25 years she's been safe from Bob. So I think she's been hidden from Bob as Carrie Page in this timeline.
And apparently hidden from herself.
Yes.
In the process.
Right. So when he starts giving her those, remember how we used to talk about the Cooper meter, the Coopometer?
Yeah, the Coopometer.
Where every cup of coffee was filling the Coopometer. Yes, this is something bad has been going on in this house.
Well, I can't imagine why she would be in kind of a rush to get out of there.
Yeah, seriously. So I think
The
we're
FBI might save her ass.
I think we have the palmometer here, where
Right.
every time he mentions,
white
what
horse.
is that? A white horse? Oh my God.
Hi,
And
Troy.
see, this is where I start freaking out with like, oh my God, a white horse. You know, I'm losing my mind.
This is the stuff that we would be like,
Yeah.
if in the same room watching this for the first time, we would be freaking out
Oh
over.
my God, look at it, look at it, look at it. So,
And Lori and Chris would be looking at us going,
like, is this
what are you doing?
Is this
What are you doing?
Yeah.
Yeah.
So we've got, yes, you're going to need a coat.
Well, that's great, but
That's
just
great.
pick one.
Go get one. So I think every time he mentions something to her, he's stirring something up in her.
Nice place you've got here. Lots of space.
Yeah. Just you? Good. All right. I like that overnight bag. That's a cool bag.
Yeah.
I love how she's just going to leave that guy here dead in her house.
Yep. You know, just we're going to leave him. We're not even I find it even more interesting that Cooper isn't interested at all in the dead guy.
He does not. He's like, you know what? This is a problem for the Texas Rangers. This is not my issue.
Exactly. It's like, look, I've got a whole timeline thing I'm going to sort out here, so I'm not going to even touch this one. It's too ordinary for my liking.
Right. And I'm realizing as we're watching this, I'm not seeing anybody with a cell phone.
Right.
Not Cooper, not Laura. That's not one of the things that Laura packed. You didn't see one on a coffee table.
Kind of like it's almost like it's in the 90s or maybe the 2000s.
I don't know. What year is this?
I don't know. What year is this exactly? Now the car looks very modern.
But the car looks like it could be. Did you
like
notice?
I said,
did you
kind
notice?
of looks like a little bit 2000s.
Well, maybe even earlier. Did you notice that the car had that keypad on the door?
No, I didn't notice that.
Yeah, it had
another good observation.
Yeah, the car had that keypad at the door, which was a precursor to keyless entry.
Right.
And they stopped doing it because after a couple of years, those buttons not only but you could buttons you were using. You know, if your code was 2187, the 2, the 1, the 8, and the 7 would be worn down, so people would have a decent chance at figuring out your code.
Right. Because of all your use of your fingerprints, rubbing it off, wearing it down.
Right. Exactly. So you don't see those that much anymore because now we have keyless entry. You have the remote, or you even have those cars that, I don't know about your car, Charles, but my car, if you're close enough to it with the keys in your hand, you can just open it.
Yeah, well, I've got the fob, so yeah,
So, but I remember those coming out in the 90s, so who knows when this car is from, and who the heck is following them?
I don't know.
It's
probably David Lynch.
It's David Lynch.
He's such a creepazoid that way.
He's back there going, does anyone speak a little French?
You remind me of a small Mexican chihuahua.
This is a very Close Encounters moment here for them, where they're just
right.
sitting there and somebody's going to go around them.
It's kind of hard because they're not really saying a whole lot here, so we're kind of having to vamp a little bit.
Okay, Texas to Washington, it's a long drive.
Yeah,
you're going to have to at least play the license plate game or something.
Go around.
Just go around.
Gosh.
Your father! I was expecting something like that. And I feel like Laura was here. I mean, look at Sheryl Lee here. She was a little freaked out by who could possibly be in that car, and is something bad going to happen?
It's like Phil Gerard in that car.
Yeah. Someone coming up behind us and then coming around and screaming, "It's your father!" So, again, the palmometer is starting to fill.
Little flashbacks, little triggers.
Just little triggers and little glimpses, little flashes.
So do you mind if we turn on the radio?
Something. We've been in this car for 2 days. And can we at least maybe stop for some tacos? I don't know.
Is there Stuckies?
Oh, man. Charles, why did you mention Denny's?
Well, I said Stuckies, but...
I know, but before you mentioned Denny's, and now I want Denny's nachos.
Well, you're at least close to a Denny's.
I'm really close to a Denny's. But I got to put on pants to go out of the house.
Ain't nobody got time for that.
Ain't nobody got time for that. Yeah, the pandemic, where you have to decide if pants and a bra are worth eating.
It's the pants-demic.
Yeah. Is the food I want worth putting on pants and a bra? And the answer is almost always no. I'll just tell you that right now.
Well, you said they deliver, so you at least could get
They
delivered.
do. They deliver, yeah. And they deliver fairly late. I remember getting them through Grubhub one night, and I got a call. I think it was 2 a.m, and I got a call from the driver, and he said, I just want to make sure I'm at the right house because I do not want to knock on the wrong door at 2 a.m. And I said, absolutely, I'll come to the door. It was...
Just tell them to, order me something and then tell them to leave it on the front porch, and I'll drive by your front porch and I'll pick it up.
There. Can I get a large order of nachos and a plate of eggs and pancakes and bacon and separate bags, please? And then I'll just text you, it'll be here in 15 minutes, and then you can show up and you can just, when the driver gets there, you're like, I'll take that, son. Half that's mine.
I would like 2 whole chickens and a Coke.
You want chicken wings or chicken legs?
2 whole chickens and a Coke.
And some dry white toast, please.
And some dry white toast, yes. I love that you know that.
You all want anything to drink for that? No, ma'am. A Coke. Be up in a minute. You like how I was right there with the type of chicken?
You were, as always, I expect nothing less from you. Perfection.
I think we're still in the same car, which looks like some sort of Lincoln. I'm not sure what it is.
Yeah, that's a good question.
But you know what I can't see?
It does feel like a government
this.
car.
You know what I can't see? The prices of gas.
Let me see if I can blow this up on my...
Because I feel like the prices of gas would give the time away a little bit better.
Yeah, let's see. It kind of blows up. If I blow it up, it kind of looks like $3.91. Pretty pricey.
Really pricey, but yeah.
Really pricey.
So now I don't know what the hell time. I don't know what the hell year it is. Because in 1991, back in 1991, we paid sometimes less than $1 for gas.
Yeah.
I don't think we paid less than 90 cents very often, but sometimes
I don't think you were supposed to know.
I don't think you were supposed to know either. But I always say that there's a couple of things in Die Hard that date that movie. First of all, the fact that there are no cell phones. But then that'd be easy. All they have to do is collect everybody's cell phone. Boom, they're done.
Right.
But the scene where you first see Al Powell get the call that something's going on at Nakatomi Plaza, gas is 77 cents.
Right.
So that's when you have to say, oh, yeah, this movie was 1989, wasn't it? That's when you realize. So not only have they driven a long way, they have driven into a brand new season, it looks like. It looks like it's autumn here now. So.
Time keeps changing.
And I feel like right here, Laura/Carrie is just being really observant of her surroundings. And again, I think this is gradually increasing the pulmometer.
Oh, hey, we're crossing the bridge where Ronette Pulaski crossed, maybe?
No, I don't think so, because that bridge goes...
Because it was a train trestle, but yeah.
Well, and that bridge goes into Canada.
Oh, that's true. You're right.
So this is... it's not the same bridge.
No.
But here we are.
It's the Double R Diner, you guys.
Here we are.
But it's closed.
Okay, that road dead ends, by the way. So when you...
Yeah, you've been there.
Yeah. If you turn that way into the Double R, that road dead ends. All right, so here we are. We're driving through the old neighborhood.
Yep, at night.
I would like to go back to the old house.
Lovely.
Yeah, Morrissey, so take it for what it's worth. Morrissey, but he's not getting money for it because he's racist.
Pretty much.
So nothing's looking familiar to Carrie, but I still think she's soaking it up. I still think something is. Look at her eyes. Look at how
they're starting to click a little bit.
How wide open they are.
Well, especially this particular neighborhood where they just stopped.
Yeah.
And here's where we go after they get out of the car. Excuse me.
Mm-hmm.
You recognize that house? Oh, that house.
Oh, that house?
Oh, that house.
I recognize that house.
That's that house.
That house. So a bit of trivia about this house. This series, there wasn't a lot of publicity as to what was going on with this series because, again, with Twin Peaks, nothing's very linear and the element of surprise is very necessary. So the small town that this is in, I'd forget the name of the town where this house is.
Everett, Washington. I know the exact address. I got it here. 708 33rd Street in Everett, Washington.
So next time I'm in Washington, I am freaking going there. So there was in their little suburban paper, they had an article that said that David Lynch is back. So if you hear screaming in the middle of the night, it's okay.
Yeah, they had to warn the neighborhood.
They had to warn everybody because
about the screaming.
Right. Because
so Cooper takes Carrie's hand.
Mm-hmm.
He knows what this is probably going to do to her, and he's probably hoping that this will snap her back to being Laura again.
The idea is that everything is supposed to come flooding back.
Right.
But so far that hasn't happened. So he's expecting that as soon as she sees her mother,
right,
who he expects to be there, that that her palmometer will completely fill.
But aren't they in for a shock?
Aren't they in for a surprise? You know what would have been funny? Is if Harold would have been at this house. That would have been interesting. All right, so...
Sadly, we didn't get Miss Chalfont.
No, she is no longer with us.
No. Sadly.
Yes. Well...
But that would have been perfection.
Right.
But they do have a rather very interesting substitute. We
kind of do get that a little bit, but here. So, trivia. This is the actual owner of this. Yes.
Yeah.
Did you catch
Mary
that?
Reber.
What I said that this is
Mary. Yes.
Mary Reber. Yes, she is the actual owner of this house because this is still just a private residence. So, she's the owner of the house. And
so this is basically Twin Peaks crossing over into quote unquote the real world.
Yes. Bit. And I've heard she's pretty generous with her home. I don't think she shoos people away from photos, but I think people are respectful and don't go up to the door. I mean, if you do go to this house and you want to take a picture, I don't think Mary
would call the
cops on you, but stay off of her lawn. Don't knock on her door. Right. Don't do it from across the street. Do it from across the street and then don't be a dick about it. So, is this your house? Do you own this house? Or do you rent this house? We own this house.
Apparently Mary Reber was really happy about doing this.
I would be too, because you can't buy this house and not know its cultural significance, frankly. Okay, who is she talking to?
Honey, what was the name of that woman who sold us the house?
Sold us the house, and so we have somebody talking to her, but we don't hear what they say. All right. Yes! Oh, my God!
Chalfont. Mrs. Chalfont.
Yes. Now, you see Laura's face? Laura's reacting a little. Cooper knows that this is something...
Now, remember, Cooper knows Chalfont because of being told that by... Can't remember. Can't believe I'm blank. Harry Dean Stanton, Carl Rodd. Yes,
Rodd.
Thank you.
Yeah.
I was having a senior moment there, apparently.
So now I was expecting here to find out that the people that owned the house before Ms. Chalfont were also named Chalfont, but they didn't do that. They didn't pull that here. So I was surprised. Okay, wait, whoa.
What is your name?
Oh, my God!
Alice Tremond. Tremond.
So they're both looking, going, so Cooper, I think his brain is going a mile a minute right now. And Laura...
sorry to bother you.
Laura is is starting to figure it out. She's looking around like, wait, we're leaving? Wait, there's something about this woman that we should be talking about. We should be dealing with this. So
they're both processing here.
They're both processing this. And when I first saw this, when this first premiered and I was watching this with my friend Mike, I was screaming. I was like, what? Like, I was completely shocked by those two names. Because again, one thing this movie does is validate so much of Fire Walk with Me.
Right.
So.
And that's obviously where Cooper was told about the whole thing by Carl Rodd. So yeah.
Two Chow.
It brings the whole thing full circle.
So that makes me wonder which one of the Chalfonts bought this house, or is it completely different? Like, where is the Chalfont family line in this whole situation? Okay.
So Cooper, he's thinking about this, going, wait a minute.
What's going on? Now,
she's starting to figure it out right here.
The palmometer is definitely increasing. So,
yeah.
And if you notice, the cars on the street are kind of indistinct. They could be anything. It's definitely not the 1950s, but there's not a lot of traffic going on. There's not people walking around. You really only see his car. So it's, based on Alice Tremont, there's what
year is this?
Now here we have the most terrifying thing I've seen on television in a long time.
It is. So this scream will haunt your dreams.
It will haunt your dreams. Look at her labored breathing.
She starts to. It's now clicking. We're like 90% right now.
Yeah.
Easy.
And then she
hears Laura.
She hears it, and look at her start to shake. And here's that scream, and then there's something right now for me about her screaming and that house going dark.
Yes.
Oh my God, I just got goosebumps just watching it again. Like my whole body just got covered in goosebumps, and all of the hair on the back of my neck is on end. There's something about that is just freaking terrifying.
It's like the White House going dark.
Oh, it's worse. If something can actually be worse than that. But so.
And nothing but blackness. That's it. That's where we're left.
And now it's dark.
Dark atmospheric music.
Dark atmospheric music, which is basically everything that done the soundtrack. Oh. So now
we end with a shot of Laura talking to Cooper, whispering something in his ear again.
So now once again we have the end of the first episode again, and the end of the last episode, where we have she's whispering to him, but look at Kyle MacLachlan's face.
Yeah, it looks saddened.
It looks like it's not what he was expecting to hear.
It's not good news.
Right, he's hearing something different. He's been through this time loop, I think, multiple times.
Yeah, maybe it's a circular loop that he's going through. I'm not
sure, but he's not hearing what he expected to hear.
Maybe she's telling him, you're back in the Black Lodge.
And is this a freeze frame, or is she still talking to him this whole time?
Well, if you notice, his eyes kind of look toward her.
Yeah.
I think it's very slow-mo.
Very subtle, but this is still going on.
Yeah.
This is not just a freeze frame. She's still telling him stuff.
This is just really slow down.
Yeah, he's not comfortable with what he's hearing. So, yeah, we've got some problems here. Yeah, and so, okay, kids, and this is it. This is what David Lynch left us with. It's as bad, if not worse, than the original time he left us.
Right.
It's freaking terrifying.
And that's it.
And we're done.
The end of Twin Peaks? ?
Do the right thing, David Lynch.
Season 4, we need that so bad. Come on, season 4.
Because now I feel like...
You're killing me here.
You're killing me with this. I feel like we got some Twin Peaksy resolution. Not necessarily all that I wanted. I still want to know what's going on with Audrey. I want to know
what happened to Chet Desmond.
I want to know what happened to Chet Desmond. I want to know a lot of things. There's still a lot of things that we could know that David Lynch could give us, but he may or may not give it to us. I don't know.
No.
It's David Lynch. He can do whatever he wants.
Exactly. We have to live with whatever he gives us, and if this is it, this is it.
Yeah.
But obviously there could be more.
Holy crap.
Yeah. And now Lynch, though, probably is taking some satisfaction in this, because one of his frustrations with the original ABC series, if you remember, was that they forced him to wrap up the Laura Palmer mystery.
Yes.
Against his will. And so, and he always loved the idea that the mystery continues. We've talked about that. So now here at the end of season 3, ending it on a cliffhanger once again.
Yeah.
That mystery
once
continues.
again.
He got what he gets, the ending that he wants, that never ending mystery.
That's what he's always wanted. He's always wanted that ever-ending mystery. Now, personally, I like the fact that we found out what happened to Laura, because we found out in a way that is still frustrating. We found out that it was Leland because he was possessed by Bob, but, there's never going to be anybody arrested. There's never going to be justice. It's never actually going to be resolved. So I think it was a good compromise without frustrating your viewers and your fans, because back in the day, I think Twin Peaks had both. I think there were viewers and I think there were fans. And I think people watched Twin Peaks because it was what you were doing, but there were those people that didn't stick with it, that didn't care about the movie, that they weren't like us. They didn't live.
They weren't diehards.
They didn't live with this obsession for 25 years the way we did.
Exactly. They weren't haunted by it.
Right.
Yeah.
They weren't haunted by it. But there were people like us who were. And I think if you had that frustration, it would have been a love-hate thing with this series. And I understand that it's not what David Lynch wanted, but I think what he delivered was fantastic. The episode where you find out that it's Leland, where they get him in the room with everybody, and you have that you have all the suspects together. You got Benjamin, Leland, and all the cops, and okay, here's where I tell you who it was, and then the doors lock and Leland goes insane, and you have that great reveal. You have that great moment with Ray Wise. That I think what he delivered, I don't think what he delivered is what ABC was hoping for.
Right. I'm sure it wasn't.
Right, but I think what he delivered was wonderful, because as much as you and I, Charles, have talked a little bit about how Twin Peaks floundered a little bit between finding out who killed Laura and Wyndham Earle getting to town.
Yeah.
I think it floundered.
There's like four episodes where where between major story arcs, between the Laura Palmer mystery and the jump starting of the Wyndham Earle storyline.
Right. So I think you have a little floundering in there with like little Nicky and I don't even want to say Dougie Milford and the mayor and
right and Lana.
And Lana, that sort of a thing. And I don't even mind the Pine Weasel so much, because that has so much to do with the Benjamin Horne character arc.
Well, I don't mind it at all, because it's a metaphor for the show being canceled.
Right.
Trying to prevent the cancellation.
Right, but then, as much as I love David Lander, his character was a little bit goofy, and Ian Buchanan's character is a little bit goofy, and Ian
too corny for you.
Ian Buchanan, I think he was an interesting storyline with Lucy, but I didn't like the little Nicky storyline at all.
No, a lot of people didn't.
But so it flounders a little bit, but then Wyndham Earle shows up, and then you're thinking, oh, okay, I could do this. And it's believable, because even though it's the same tiny town and all this crazy stuff is happening, it's because Cooper's there. It's not that more crazy stuff is happening to more people who live in this town. It's that something crazy has followed Cooper. So it's not like one of those stories
it was a good villain.
Right. It's not one of those stories where you're starting to strain suspension of disbelief by saying, how does all of this stuff happen to one person? Like Jessica Fletcher. Like, how does this one old lady in this one small town in New England come across all of these murders?
Spoiler, she's a serial killer, and she's the one who killed all those people.
See, now that would have been way interesting if Jessica Fletcher had actually been like Dexter.
What a great revelation.
Oh, man, that would have been – I would have watched that show.
Like she totally framed everybody else.
Seriously.
And was a serial killer. How great would that have been?
Yeah, that would have been so funny. But you don't have that. You don't have that straining of your suspension of disbelief because you get this storyline that is kind of supernatural and kind of related, but not the same thing, just to a different person. So I like that was able to be done, and I like what David Lynch did with the direction he got, even though he disagreed with the direction. And in this one, as frustrating as it is, the second to the last episode 17, is so satisfying on so many levels. Just Cooper becoming Cooper again and doing all of his Cooper stuff, and Freddie McRubberfist punching Bob into oblivion. Mm-hmm. And you see Doppelganger Cooper just go away, and you know that Twin Peaks
you get a send off to the Twin Peaks cast.
You get a send off to Twin Peaks, the town.
Right.
You know, that the town is going to be okay. And with this episode, you get a little glimpse of there's more to Audrey than what we've been given. She's somewhere that she's still involved in this a little bit with the little girl who lives down the lane.
Right.
And
there's more to be explored.
There's more to be explored with her, and she's still somehow connected to this story. Even though we know Richard's dead and Benjamin Horne and Sylvia Horne are having, probably what's going to happen is Benjamin Horne and Sylvia Horne are going to still be at each other's throats, and he's going to wind up having an affair with, what's her name? Whose name I can never...
Beverly.
Yes.
Yeah.
He's going to wind up having an affair with Beverly, and it's going to be fine because he's going to be nice, and she's going to bring out the good carrot-eating Ben again.
Right.
You've got Big Ed and Norma are together. I'm pretty sure that, oh my God, why can't I think of her? Becky is going to be okay because I'm pretty sure he's dead in the force. I mean, as much as I want Gersten to be okay, I think he's dead. So it's somewhat satisfying. And we know from if we've read the books, we know that Leo is dead also. So that's helpful.
and Hank is dead.
Hank is dead. Leo's dead. So everything that was going, and Chad's in jail. So that's probably going to bring down the rest of the drug running ring in the Twin Peaks Police Department.
That's a huge win, right?
That's a huge win. So there is some satisfaction to that. But just like before, we're left hanging with Audrey, we're left hanging with Cooper, and we're not sure what's going on. We don't even know what year it is. We don't know what happened. There's so many questions that this could go many different ways. We don't
know what happened to Diane.
We don't know what happened to Diane, exactly. But unlike the first series, it's not like something horrific happened to one of our favorite characters in the last episode.
Right.
Because in the original series, the absolute worst thing in the world of Twin Peaks that could happen to somebody happens to Cooper.
Yes.
And
by being possessed by Bob.
By Bob. And we at least don't get that in this cliffhanger. We at least know that they are lost in time and lost in space and meaning right now. So we don't not worry about them, but we're not heartbroken for them like we were when we saw Bob in the mirror on June 10th, 1991.
Right. Not that you remember the day or anything.
It's not that I remember the date or anything like that.
Yeah. All right. You have the best David Lynch lighting right now, by the way.
Yeah, it was light outside when we started this, and now I'm just here with the TV.
And now it's dark.
And I've got one of those little light up orb things that I got
Yes.
from Dave and Buster's like a million years ago. So, yeah, I'm just hanging out in the dark.
It's very David Lynchian.
And now it's dark. Well, Charles, it's 9:30. Do you know where your freedom is?
Exactly.
I'm just going to sit here with my protein shake and watch Dr. Amp on the YouTube.
We're gonna watch Dr. Amp.
Mm-hmm.
All right. So hope everybody enjoyed our commentaries for the return parts 1 through 18. I know it's been a bit of an odyssey, but hey, we finally finished something.
I hope you enjoyed rewatching it as much as we enjoyed rewatching it.
Exactly. I know we kind of skipped some episodes of the original series, but we did get through all of these. And the question now, though, I think is, we can talk about that in a little bit. But I did kind of wonder first, what's your rating for this one, this finale?
Oh, this is a 10 out of 10 deep fried guns for me.
I think for me, the frustration of still things being left unresolved.
Yeah.
So I kind of knock it a point off just for that. Just the we don't know if things are, we're not going to get all the answers here. And I realize it's David Lynch. That comes with the territory.
Yeah.
But it's still, as a writer, it kind of frustrates me.
I can hear that. And I think my rating when we first saw it was lower than it is now. But I think now that some time has passed.
Yes. As you sit in the full blossom of the evening.
In the full blossom of the evening, yes. I feel a little, like I was saying before, I feel a little more comfortable with this because I know it's what David Lynch was going to give us. And they're not necessarily in danger because I think Laura is screaming, not necessarily because she's in imminent danger, but because she's remembering she's coming back to herself.
Right.
So I'm not worried about her, and I'm not worried about Cooper like I was before. So
I'm a little worried.
I'm a little worried, but I'm not
because the house went dark.
The house went dark. Yeah. So I'm a little
like something knows, like something, the force, whatever evil force.
Yeah.
Zhao
yes, exactly. So you're right. I'm a little bit worried, but I'm not. What's to say?
I don't know. You kind of glitched up.
I'm not. Well, no, I was quiet.
Okay. So we didn't miss anything. That's good.
No, we didn't miss anything. I'm not heartbroken. Like I said,
okay.
I'm a little worried, but I'm not heartbroken like I was.
You're at some semblance of peace about this.
Yes, I'm not. I'm confused. I'm wanting more, but I'm not heartbroken like I was with the original ending. The original ending broke my freaking heart because I know it was you, Fredo.
The original ending was such a powerful cliffhanger.
Yes,
and obviously in a good way because I think it kept Twin Peaks alive.
Yeah.
For a lot of fans.
Oh, yeah.
Because they needed more. They couldn't let that ending stand.
Right. Right.
So, like a lot of fans, like they came up with their own fan fiction and whatnot, and they almost willed David Lynch and Mark Frost to come back to this all these years later.
Yeah.
The whole idea of the 25 years later.
Mm-hmm.
Like, I'll see you again in 25 years. Well, that was what fans latched on to.
Yeah, I effing better.
And the whole idea of how great would it be if they actually did return 25 years later.
Yes. How wonderful would that have been?
And thankfully they did.
Thankfully they did it, yes. And
with change.
I don't want to wait another 25 years. Thank you very much.
No. Thankfully they didn't say that. So hopefully it wouldn't be another 25 years because I don't think David Lynch would be around in 25 years.
If we don't start wearing masks out, none of us will be.
No, that's a great point.
Yeah.
Exactly. So like everybody starts becoming adults and being responsible.
Yeah.
So, but that's a whole nother thing. All right.
Yep.
I give this one, like I said, 9 out of 10. I'm giving it 9 out of 10 screaming Laura Palmers.
Good one.
So I like But again, only the point deduction because of the unresolved.
And I can see that, but I like I said, the second time around,
stories.
I'm finding myself more comfortable with it.
Yeah, I get that. So everybody, we haven't heard from a lot of people about what they've been thinking about as we've gone through these episodes. So if you got, now that we've finished going through the return once again, if you got any thoughts, please drop us a line at ghostwoodpodcast@gmail.com.
We enjoy thoughts.
Yes, at the Gmail. So yeah, please send us your thoughts. Send them to us at ghostwoodpodcast@gmail.com. The Gmail. Or reach out to us on Twitter at ghostwoodcast on Twitter.
Mm-hmm.
Or on Facebook at Ghostwood, the Twin Peaks Podcast. See how that works?
That's all us.
That's us. We'd love to hear from you. Please like and follow us. Or if you see our episodes, please share them with everybody because that helps people find us.
Mm-hmm.
That would be great if you did that. We would definitely appreciate that. And then the question now is, next time on Ghostwood, episode 79,
mm-hmm.
What are we discussing?
I say we discuss the Criterion edition of Mulholland Drive.
Okay. We've kind of teased this. Now, do we want to talk just the movie, or do we want to do our deep dive into the Criterion set?
Should we do a two-parter?
Or we could. We could do one episode talking about the movie,
mm-hmm. and then
another episode discussing the Criterion special edition and all that.
Let's do that because we've never really talked Mulholland Drive, have we?
We have not. No, that's just something that a lot of people. I think we've talked about that here in the podcast. It's almost like a Twin Peaks film.
Mm-hmm. Oh yeah.
And
especially this one where you wake up one day and all your characters are different people.
Exactly. There's all kinds of alternate realities, things getting people wondering who they are or
mm-hmm.
who they've become. So this movie kind of fits right into that. And hey, Naomi Watts, just saying,
yep.
We got Janie E. Jones.
We got Janie E.
front and center.
Yep.
On this one. Lots of other great characters and actors, of course. So yeah, why don't we do that then? Let's talk the movie next time.
I like that plan.
We'll do the movie first, and then we'll talk about all those spiffy special features.
Mm-hmm.
And booklets and whatnot, all that fancy schmancy stuff on the Criterion version in episode 80. How's that sound?
I like that.
I like that plan too. I'm excited by it.
I love this plan. I'm excited to be a part of it. Let's do it.
Let's do it. So that's what we're going to do. All right. So everybody, thank you again for listening, as always. We really appreciate it. I know that, I've seen the downloads, so I know you guys are out there. Really appreciate it. Xan, thank you as always. I have such a ball talking to you.
We have good times, don't we, Charles?
I like to think we do. And
yeah, we do.
Even maybe one of these episodes we'll finally remember to eat something as we're discussing this stuff.
I'm not holding out hope from my being sensible in that situation.
Yeah, we can always live in hope.
I will.
I'm an optimist by nature, I think, so I live in hope.
I feel like I consider myself an optimistic cynic. I'm optimistic, but then when
you're optimistic about your cynicism.
Well, no, I'm optimistic, but when things don't work out, my reaction is figures. I'm just cynical enough to not be surprised by anything. So I will say though, Charles, that here in Columbus, we do have some fabulous 24-hour donut place. Buckeye Donuts. Buckeye Donuts, 24 hours, baby.
We should do that.
Why don't? Yeah, let's
Nothing
do that.
Else.
Yeah.
Seriously.
Do that. My God.
I mean, especially now that I'm on vacation.
Heck yeah. I'm on vacation for 3 days, and then I have tomorrow off because it's 4th of July observed. And then I work Monday, and then I'm off for a week. So.
Yeah. So we need to do a donut run.
Yeah.
So,
with masks on. Thank you very much.
With masks.
Yes.
Exactly. Because, hey, we're adults. We're responsible.
Stay responsible and stay safe out there, y'all.
We don't want to give the coronavirus to anybody if we have it. We don't know.
We just don't want to add to the mix of spit that's in the air.
Exactly. That whole soup.
Yeah.
That's circulating out there. The coronavirus soup.
Ain't nobody got time for that.
So we needed to like do a donut disturb. Do a
Donut
run.
disturb. That's awesome.
The donut disturb, and we'll get some donuts, and maybe if you so inclined, if coffee time as well, and then everybody come on back in 2 weeks as Zane and I discuss at long last Mulholland Drive. It's going to be a lot of fun, and so we'll see you for episode 79 here in a couple weeks. Thanks again for listening. We'll see you next time right here, Ghostwood, the Twin Peaks podcast. Goodbye, everybody.